Alright, so today is the 18th. We're moving on to the next section of estimating. So Chapter 3, Section 2. And we're going to be estimating products and quotients. We're going to be estimating products and quotients. What operation goes with products? What operation goes with products? Aaron? Multiplication, so that's going to be multiplication. What operation goes with quotients? Mateo? Division. Alright, so when we are rounding products, let's talk about products first. Remember, our goal, thank you, our goal in estimating these, right there. Our goal is to round the factors to numbers that will make the multiplication mental math. So we are using rounding. Alright, so for addition and multiplication, rounding is a good one depending on the sizes, but we're definitely using rounding for all the time for products. So if we have something like this, alright, I want to estimate 7.65 times 3.2. Jack, we are really just getting started in our notes. So you can, if you want to just kind of leave a little bit of space at the top for just the heading, and you can go ahead and get started with this. All right. So if I take a look at 7.65, and I'm going to multiply that by 3.2. Well, I want to estimate. I want to round 7.65. What would you round 7.65? We want to round to the nearest ones. Both of these, because they are both below 10. So we're rounding to the nearest ones. All right, so 7.65. What is that? A squiggly equal sign means approximately. What is that rounded? Kira? Yep, I would say 8 times 3.2. What is that? Approximately. So this squiggly equal sign means approximately. What would I round that to? Alex? Yeah, I would say 3. Alright, so we're multiplying. So our answer is approximately 24. All right, let me give you a couple more to do. All right, the closer we get, let's say the closer we keep our approximation, no, let's do our rounding. Our rounding of the factors to the actual, the closer our estimate. Alright, so the one thing to kind of keep in mind is, if you can do, the whole point here is so you can do mental math. So if you have numbers like this, if we want to estimate 17.02 times 3.78. All right, what would you round 17.022 to? And what would you round for 3.782? This is where it takes a little bit of thought, because if you can round 17.02 closer than 20 and multiply that by 4 very easily, then do that. You know what I mean? Like, you want to do mental math, but you want it to be as easy as, like, as close as you can. So someone tell me, what would you round 17.02 and what would you round 3.782? What do you guys think? Mateo? All right, and is that pretty easy mental math to do? All right, so this is going to be 68. How many of you guys know right away that that's 68? All right, who would have rounded that differently? Would anybody have rounded that to 20? Maybe. If we did 20, I'm going to put or here. 20 times 4, that's just going to give me 80. That's a lot higher, isn't it? All right, so again, we want to do mental math. This one's not quite as specific as the adding, all right? But we do want to stick with mental math, so we want to go as close as we can. So if you can do 17 times 4 quickly, then that's what I want you doing. So we want to stay as close as we can. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay, so let me give you guys another one. So I want you to estimate 8.25 times 19.8. Estimate that one for me, please. What do you guys think? What are you going to estimate this to, Jack? Excellent. And then what's my estimate? $160. How many of you guys are cool with this so far? All right, let's do a story problem. All right, so Jody bought 6 yards. Of fabric to make a quilt. The fabric costs $6.75 per yard. The clerk charged her $45.90 before tax. Did the clerk make a mistake? And I want you to just put it on my desk, please. Explain. So Jody bought 6 yards of fabric to make a quilt. The fabric costs $6.75 per yard. God bless you. The clerk charged $45.90 before tax. Did the clerk make a mistake? How could I use estimating to figure out if the clerk made a mistake? How could I use estimating to see if the clerk made a mistake? How could I do that? Come on, you guys. How could I use estimating? What we just learned, how could I use estimating to see if the clerk made a mistake? Mateo, what do you think? Yep. Okay, I don't disagree with that. Let's do our multiplication. If I was to round and do this, so let's do this for a second. Let's be better with this. How do I find the total cost? How do I find the total cost of my fabric? Because I do like what you're going to do, Mateo, but I don't know what to do with those numbers. So I need to come up with a game plan. Because I think what I want to do is I want to compare an estimate of the actual cost to what she was charged. How many of you guys agree that that would be a good idea, a good way to handle this? How many of you guys agree with that? Let's do an estimate based on how much she bought, how much it was cost per yard, and then compare that to what she was actually charged. So for us to do that, how do I figure out what is the game plan to figure out my total cost? So we have parts equal to my whole. All right, what's my whole and what's my parts? Come on. What's the total that I'm measuring here? Michaela? No, it's not the total amount of fabric. What is my whole? Come on, you guys. What's my whole? Kira? So total cost. How many of you guys agree my whole is my total cost? How do I find my total cost? Jack? Excellent. Dollars per yard times my number of yards. So Mateo's absolutely right. If I put my actual in, it's $6.75 times 6. And I want to know what that total cost is. But for estimating, Mateo, I love what you said. 6.75 is 7 if we round it. All right, so if we do this, my estimate of my cost is $42. Approximate cost. How many of you guys can see what we did? All right, well, I want to compare this, my estimate of $42 to the $45.90. So someone tell me, did she make a mistake? This is our estimate of our actual. This is what she was charged. Did they make a mistake? Layla? Yeah, I mean, we even rounded up, right? So that $42 is still really a bit higher before taxes than what our actual really is. All right, so yeah, they made a mistake. All right, and I might say something like Layla did. You know, the explanation is when we did our rounding, we rounded up, we came up with 42. They were much higher than that estimate. All right, so I might say something like, after rounding, up, the estimate is still lower than what she was charged. At the top, I'm going to say, yes, made a mistake. All right, so this is something that you could do. All right, this is a way that we could use estimating. All right, I have division, so let's talk about division. So let's talk about estimating quotients. So if we talk about estimating quotients, what we need to focus on is we need to use compatible numbers when we round. So we're still rounding, but I need to pay attention to divisibility. So what this means is we need to think about divisibility rules. So let me give an example so you know what the heck I'm talking about. So if we have, so when we talk about compatible numbers, 6 divided by 3. Well, 6 is divisible by 3. They are compatible numbers. If I have not compatible, that might be 6 divided by 4. 6 is not divisible by 4. They are not compatible numbers. So this is an example of compatible numbers versus not compatible numbers. I'm not saying you can't do that division, but you can't do it with mental math. All right, so let's take a look at what I'm talking about. So if I have 26.0454 and I'm dividing that by 4.98. All right, so what number is close to 26? Because if I take a look at that 4.98, what number is really close to 4.98? What number is really close to 4.98? Frankie? 5. So this is what I'm going to change my 4.98 to. So then we say to ourselves, what number is close to 26.0454 and is divisible by 5? So while 26.0454, we would round that to 26. 26 is not divisible by 5. So what should I change 26 to, that it is divisible by 5? Romano? 25. So this now becomes 25 divided by 5, which is 5. So we're using rounding, but then we're also using close to. All right, so what we did is we rounded the divisor, that's the denominator, and then that's the first thing we did. And the second thing we did is we changed dividend, that's our numerator, to a number that is divisible by the divisor. So we round the divisor, that's the first thing you're going to do, and then you're going to change the dividend to a number very close to one we have that is divisible by the divisor. So let me give you guys another one. Raise your hand if you need to see what's up there. Thank you, Mateo. I'm very well aware of the time. Let me be the teacher, please. All right, so let me give you guys another one. All right, I want you to estimate 11.85 divided by 2.1. All right, so what is 2.1 close to? What is 2.1 close to? Layla? 2. All right, then what is 11.85 close to that it is divisible by 2? Emerson? 12. So what's 12 divided by 2, Emerson? 6. So remember, you're estimating that first, rounding that divisor first, and then you're changing what you're dividing up second. All right, you guys can go quickly.